Welcome to On the Pen. You are on the pen. That's why you're here. I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here, and we're all on the pen live tonight. Not our typical weekly show that we're doing tonight because it's a special week in the Knapp household. We've got Jenny and I celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary yesterday, and we are celebrating my 38th birthday today. I am 38 years young, thanks to Mounjaro. So I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you won't miss the weekly show too much. But we're gonna cover a really fun topic tonight that I've been wanting to do a video on this for a long time. I'm excited for it. I think that you all will be excited for it too. If you're here for the first time joining us, especially we're streaming live over there now. We're streaming on Facebook as well as our flagship YouTube channel. It's good to have you all here. I see tonight's chat is going to be members only. So if you are a member of the channel, you can participate in the chat tonight and ask questions. This is one of those special nights where I'm going to be covering some information that some of you are going to have questions for. So we'd like to give a little perk to the members. Sometimes they're the ones who keep this channel alive, keep this going, make it so that I can do this thing. So they're in the chat tonight. So welcome to the members. Welcome to those of you who are not members who are watching as well. We're glad to have you here. If you'd like to comment, you can become a member. You can do that pretty easily on this channel. I don't know if the link is in the description or not, but you have to kind of go to the homepage. Maybe Michelle can help us out with some directions. Got Michelle moderating for us tonight. So we appreciate her being here. She's really here as my crutch to make sure that I don't say anything too stupid. And maybe she can help us. I'm not sure. I don't think that I have the link in the description to join, but you can become a channel member. You can do that really easily by visiting the main page of the channel and clicking join. And it's $2.99 a month. It just helps support this channel so that I can keep doing these videos for you, for us, for the community. So tonight's topic, let's get into it. We're going to talk tonight about some of the GLP-1 medications and similar medications to Mounjaro, to Ozempic, Wegovy, semaglutide, tirzepatide, liraglutide, dulaglutide, all the utides. We're going to talk about all of those medications that are currently, or at least a good handful of the medications from the major drug manufacturers that are currently in clinical trials. We're going to talk about how people are doing as it relates to weight loss in the trials. And we're also going to talk a little bit about when we might expect to see some of these medications hit the market. So I'm curious for those of you in the chat. Thank you. Oh, I see some happy birthdays in the chat now that I'm over here. Thank you for the happy birthdays. I appreciate each and every one of you. This is a fun birthday. It's my first birthday on the moon. So it's cool. And it's my first birthday with all of you. And so that's extra exciting. Just so fun to be here with all of you. And yeah, so happy to have you here. So let's get into it. But before we do, I did want to ask all of you who are here, is there a specific medication that you might be interested in for, that a medication that's in clinical trials currently that you are interested in me giving you some information on? I do have a list of them here, and we'll get into them, but certainly I can switch the order up if we'd like. We're going to talk about a couple that we've talked about before on this channel. Retatrutide. We're going to talk about Orforglipron as well. Those are a couple of Eli Lilly medications, but we're also going to talk about some medications from Viking Therapeutics, from AstraZeneca, and from Pfizer. So Maybe you'll have something to add. Cheryl's confused that this isn't on a Thursday. As everybody's kind of joining, this is a birthday and anniversary week here in the Knapp household. I turned 38 today, and we're celebrating our 15th wedding anniversary yesterday. And so we're getting away for the weekend, which is super fun. So I will not be doing any live streaming. If I do, it'll be purely accidental and probably awkward. So I am super, super, super excited to be here. Super excited to have you all here. And yeah, just super excited to cover these medications. So we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about one of our favorite topics on this channel. And that topic is Retatrutide. So that Retatrutide was the Retatrutide. I want it now, says Vanessa. We all do. So one of the medications that I first talked about on this channel that was not Mounjaro was Retatrutide or Retatrutide. I've heard it said both ways, but Retatrutide or Retatrutide is the triple acting. So we've talked about on this channel how tirzepatide, which is the active ingredient in Mounjaro, what potentially makes it superior to Ozempic, which is semaglutide, or Wegovy, Rybelsus. Those are all semaglutide from Novo Nordisk. What makes it potentially superior to some of the other GLP-1s on the market is that it also acts on the GIP receptor. So the GIP is another hormone that's responsible for satiety and making you feel full. But there's a third one that Retatrutide acts on. And the thought is that this third action is potentially going to lead to some improvement in weight loss. And that is certainly what it's showing. It's got, I want to say 24% over 48 months was what I read. I don't have that in my notes here, but it was superior to Mounjaro. And this is currently being tested in phase 3 trials going on currently. And we may see this medication in late 2024 or 2025. So that is really exciting. And the real exciting thing about Retatrutide is the trials are going on for obesity and type 2 diabetes. And so it won't be like Mounjaro, which came out as a type 2 diabetes medication that was prescribed off label to so many of you that's got everybody in a quandary, which is why a lot of people are here to this channel, because of all the information that we've given to you on coupons. And it's just been a real frustrating thing. So Retatrutide will not be the way. It's got a fast track breakthrough therapy designation from the FDA. So it's moving through. It's already in phase 3. So hopefully we'll see this sometime in the next couple of years hit the market. And we're going to see it hit the market and be available, hopefully, for both the diabetic patients and the weight loss, chronic weight management patients as well. So that's the latest update on Retatrutide. What's everybody think? Everybody wants Retatrutide right now. That is awesome. Deliza said, how will the glucagon portion of Retatrutide work for type 2 diabetes? And it's a great question, Deliza. And one of the things that I would say about that is in the Eli Lilly conference calls, what I have heard is that tirzepatide, which does not have the glucagon portion, actually seems to be superior in bringing A1C down to Retatrutide in the early studies. So it's possible that glucagon addition, for whatever reason, isn't as effective as just the GLP-1 and the GIP. So we'll have to see. Obviously, phase 3 trials are going to tell us a lot more. If you're interested in learning more about the phases of the trials and what that means for the different drugs, you want to check out one of my videos here on my channel, and it tells you all about what the different phases mean, what goes on in those different phases, and what that means for kind of the timeline of the approval of a new medication. So Retatrutide from Eli Lilly, probably 2025. That's going to be my guess. Maybe late 2024. And that's, again, for type 2 diabetes and obesity. And that will be a once weekly injection, like tirzepatide, like Mounjaro, like Ozempic. The next one I want to talk about is Orforglipron. So Orforglipron is also from Eli Lilly. And this is kind of going on in parallel with the studies on Retatrutide. Orforglipron is a oral GLP-1. So this is going to be like Rybelsus. Rybelsus is the oral version of Ozempic and Wegovy. It's a oral semaglutide. Not as effective as Rybelsus in bringing down weight as its injectable counterparts, but Orforglipron set out to be as effective as some of those early GLP-1 injectables like Saxenda and Victoza and Trulicity. It set out to rival weight loss in those injectables as a once daily pill for those who just can't take shots, don't want to take shots, or scared of shots, whatever it may be. And the interesting thing about Orforglipron that's different than all of the other medications that we've talked about on this channel, every medication that we've talked about as far as the GLP-1s have all been polypeptides, long-chain amino acids, right? Orforglipron is a non-peptide oral GLP-1. And so if it is approved, it would be the first non-peptide GLP-1 available on the market in a once daily tablet. This is also being done in parallel as a type 2 diabetes study and a obesity chronic weight management study. So again, when this hits the market, this will likely hit the market for both uses, and again, not creating quite the catastrophe that tirzepatide Mounjaro created for the type 2 diabetics or the non-diabetics taking it for weight loss off-label. So that is excellent news. And in one phase 3 clinical trial of Orforglipron that people received for 52 weeks, so a full year, people lost an average of 10% of their body weight. So for an oral GLP-1, that is pretty strong results. I believe that outpaces the results of the highest dose available in semaglutide oral dose, which is 14. So Rybelsus is available in a 3 milligram, a 7 milligram, and a 14 milligram. They are testing at a 25 and a 50 milligram. So it'll be interesting how that stacks up. And I'm sure that is a counter to some of these other oral GLP-1s like Orforglipron, and another one that we're going to get into in a minute. So 10% weight loss over a year on an oral GLP-1 is kind of where Orforglipron seems to be landing, but we will see. And the possible approval year for Orforglipron is going to be, again, kind of the similar window to Retatrutide, probably late 2024 or 2025 that we'll see that hit the market. So that is Orforglipron. Let me check in with the chat. How's everybody doing? I hope that you are all enjoying this stream so far. If you are, would you do me a favor and hit that like? If you're here for the first time, hit that subscribe button. That helps grow this channel. We appreciate that. For those of you who are here for the first time, we're glad to have you. Ms. Tapman said her aunt takes Rybelsus and says it's not working. Yeah, Rybelsus is just not as strong, obviously, as its injectable counterpart. It's not as bioavailable. We've talked about bioavailability on this channel. The closest, the best way to get a medication, the fastest way to make it bioavailable is to inject it right into your veins. That's obviously not what these injectable GLP-1s are. They're subcutaneous injections. And so they go into that first layer under the skin, and they are designed and lipidized to basically be metabolized very slowly throughout the week. So that's why they're a once weekly injection. But the oral way is pretty much the worst way to get something into your bloodstream. And so they're just not typically as effective, but Orforglipron looks like it will be more effective than Rybelsus. And another one we're going to talk about here soon is looking pretty promising too. Pug, thank you for the $19.99 super chat. Retatrutide, I choose you. Perform the fat attack. That's right. Do your thing, Retatrutide. Yeah, thank you, Pug, for the we're going to call it for the birthday gift. Thank you for the birthday gift tonight, Pug. I appreciate you. You are such an encourager of me and of this channel, and we're just glad to have you here, Puggers. If you have not checked out Pug's channel, Pug has a YouTube channel, Pug on Mounjaro. Go over, check him out. He's got lots of inspirational content, and he's just got a really inspirational story. So thank you, Pug, for the super chat. You're such a great encourager of me, and I appreciate you very much. So we're going to get into another one, another drug that's similar to the one we just talked about. So we talked about Orforglipron from Eli Lilly, which is a daily oral, which is a non-peptide. Well, another small molecule non-peptide GLP-1 medication that's in the works from Pfizer is called danuglipron, however you want to slice and dice it, but we'll call it danuglipron, and that's from Pfizer. And in a phase 1/2 trial, people who received danuglipron lost an average of 15% of their body weight over 24 weeks. That 15% of your body weight, losing that over 24 weeks outperforms Ozempic, both in the percentage, but also in the timeline. I believe, I can't remember what it was, so I'm not going to hazard a guess, but it was over a year that people took Ozempic to lose that amount of weight. This is saying in 24 weeks, which is just astounding. Very short amount of time, people were able to drop weight. It is a once daily oral medication, and it, like Orforglipron, is an oral one that's a non-peptide. And so I'm thinking this one is real early in the clinical trials, it looks like. And so it's probably going to be the next few years that we're looking at seeing this actually hit the market. You'll probably see Orforglipron hit the market before this one from Eli Lilly. But TBD, because these companies are all working on getting fast tracks, and I think that they will be successful in that endeavor. Some of them already have, Eli Lilly being one of them, because obesity is an epidemic, and it is a priority of the government. And so whenever that's the case, we'll see. Dave, why do they come up with such complex names? They all sound kind of similar. So you'll notice that a lot of these medications end in tide. That's because they are polypeptides. And so it's really easy to spot these ones that are peptides and these ones that are not, because you'll notice the Orforglipron and danuglipron, kind of that suffix kind of tips its hat as to what type of medication it is. So I don't know how they come up with them. It might have to do with the abbreviations of the amino acids. I haven't looked at it that closely. And they might just compile them and word salad it so that people like me can't pronounce it on YouTube and look like idiots. So we'll see. With all the new medications, where will that leave metformin? And I hope, Janine, with all my heart, that it leaves metformin in the dustbin of history. Metformin is a nasty drug. I was on it. I was very sick on it. And I feel bad for anybody who has to take it. So anybody who tells me that they're on metformin gets the gospel on tirzepatide from me, or semaglutide. Any of the utides. Vanessa said that metformin is just a cheap colon cleanse. That's a fact, to put it bluntly. Yeah. So metformin will go away, and we'll be glad when it does. So let's keep moving through. So we talked about, let's just recap. We've talked about Retatrutide, a once weekly triple acting medication from Eli Lilly that we hope to see in late 2024 or 2025, or Orforglipron, the daily oral from Eli Lilly that looks to outperform Rybelsus, that we're hoping to see again 2024 or 2025. Danuglipron from Pfizer, another oral that we hope to see probably 2026. Then this one is a really interesting one. So this was a company that I had never heard of up until recently. I want to say that Sue YouTube very early on in my channel sent me a link to this medication. This medication is from a company called Viking Therapeutics, and I couldn't find the tide name. So we're just going to call this Viking Tide, which is known as VK, that's Victor Kilo 2735 from Viking Therapeutics. It is a GLP-1 and GIP dual agonist. So if you remember, tirzepatide, Mounjaro, is a dual agonist as well. And it is a dual agonist, tirzepatide, that does GLP-1 and GIP. Well, this is a dual agonist that also uses GLP-1 and GIP. And it's a once daily inject. From everything that I could read, it's a once daily injection, which is interesting because tirzepatide is a once weekly injection. And it's very early on, very, very early on in the studies. So the only trial that I could find was a study of 88 adults with obesity who took this Viking Tide once daily for 28 days. Get a load of this. So 28 days, under a month, 4 weeks. People lost 7.8% of their body weight. I mean, I'm not even sure that's healthy. So, I mean, people losing that weight that much that quickly, I think you're going to see a lot of side effects of this medication, gallstones. I mean, everything that comes with rapid weight loss. And so that may make it a little bit difficult for this one to overcome these side effects that will be associated with it. But again, it'll be interesting to see in that 28-day study. They ramped people up like you do on tirzepatide, but obviously they did it over a 28-day period. So they ramped up the dosage over that 28 days, presumably weekly, but it could have been something quicker. I don't know. But that medicine is now in phase 2 of clinical trials, or starting phase 2 of clinical trials in the second half of 2023. So this is another one that we'll see likely in 2026. And this will be one to watch because this one they're studying for obesity. So their emphasis is on obesity. I find it very interesting, and Michelle and I have talked about this in the past, that I have felt like I would benefit from a daily shot of tirzepatide, which is a GLP-1 and a GIP, right? And this one is a GLP-1 and a GIP, but it's a daily one. It's for obesity. So it'll just be interesting to see how this one pans out. This will be one that I will be watching closely because that is tremendous results. And I will be very interesting to see if that 7.8% grows at that clip for a few months or when it levels off for people, but that'll be a fun one to follow. So Viking Tide, VK 2735 from Viking Therapeutics, once daily injection, probably sometime in 2026 that we would see that hit the market. Now, here's another interesting one being studied for type 2 diabetes and obesity from AstraZeneca. And this is known as AZD9550. I am very interested in this one because this one is a dual agonist, but instead of being like tirzepatide and like the one we just talked about, the Viking Tide, this is a GLP-1 plus glucagon receptor. And glucagon, you'll remember, is the third one that they've added to Retatrutide. This one's being studied again for type 2 diabetes and obesity. So this would, theoretically hit the market for both, which would be great. And yeah, we'll have to see how it pans out. But the interesting thing about this is AstraZeneca had a once daily, it was a once daily GLP-1. I can't remember whether it was oral or I do believe it was a once daily injection that they were studying up until February or April of this year. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was a utide. And they abandoned it for this one, which is a once weekly shot. So this would be another once weekly shot. It is a small molecule dual GLP-1 GIP receptor agonist. So this is not a peptide. From what I can read, this is not a peptide either, which is also interesting. It's a small molecule receptor agonist being developed by AstraZeneca. And, it ultimately it acts the same way as the peptides do, where it acts on the GLP-1 receptors, but it's going to delay gastric emptying. It's going to send those signals to your brain that you're full and do all those things. We got another super chat from Pug. Man, Pug's on a roll. Faster to get Gypsy Curse from movie. Oh, yeah. I totally remember that, Pug. Thinner. That's such a I don't know why that specific commercial has stuck with me that long, but I'm so happy that you referenced it. That's hilarious. Yeah, so in this AstraZeneca medicine, this AZD9550, it looks like over 12 weeks, and I think I'm reading this right, people took this for 12 weeks and lost an average of 12.5% of their body weight, which is so 3 months and 12.5% of their body weight. That is insane. Absolutely insane. So it will be interesting to follow this one as well. Again, if that is the case, and actually, Yeah, I want to follow up on that. I think I had a link to the PubMed on that one because I was like, this does not look like it can be possible. But yeah, 12.5% of their body weight. That's like 1% of your body weight per week. So it'll be interesting in the longer trials how that holds up, if they plateau, if they level off, if they hit the highest dose in, and how it's tolerated. It'll just be very interesting to see how this one pans out. And this one we may see in 2020, late 2024 or early 2025. It'd be very interesting to see. And this again is for type 2 diabetes and obesity. That could be a big one. And I think, it's a good time to pause and just talk about, like, why are we talking about this? Well, I think, one of the big things that comes up on this channel and really all the Mounjaro channels that are out there, if you read the comments, is I can't afford this medication anymore. I'm losing access to my coupon. Should I get compound? Should I get this? Well, what this all is this is the free markets at work here, folks. When these medications hit the market and then over the next couple of years, it's going to significantly drive down the cost of the competitor drugs. I mean, we need competition at this point. There's not enough medicine to go around. There's no reason for these insurance companies to not charge what they're charging, especially when you consider the amount of money that they put into them. But it'll be good for a couple of reasons. First thing being, these extra drugs on the market are going to cause competition to happen in the marketplace. But the other thing is there will be, if you look at liraglutide coming off patent, hopefully next year we've got a generic version of Victoza on the market, which would be great. So yeah, interesting stuff. So the last one we're going to talk about, and this is my favorite named one. This one's from Merck, and this one's called efinopegdutide. Give me some of that efinopegdutide. Efinopegdutide, right? So this ends in tide. So this is a polypeptide. The code word is MK6024 if you want to look it up, from Merck. It's a long-acting GLP-1 receptor agonist that's being developed by Merck for the treatment of type 2 diabetes and obesity. It is a once-weekly injection. And the interesting thing is that this one is being studied also in diabetes and obesity. So these drug companies have seen the writing on the wall and they want to release these things for both. And so I think that's the really positive thing for those of you. Most of the people who follow my channel are not diabetic, but they're people who struggle with obesity and insulin resistance and just difficulty losing weight. In a phase 2B study, people who took this for 12 weeks lost an average of 12.5% of their body weight, just like the one from AstraZeneca that we saw. So you see that these improvements that are happening with these peptides, with these companies, and even the ones that are developing small molecule medications, they're finding a way to really activate this GLP-1 and make it work for people. So that is super, super exciting. This one, Merck plans to submit to the FDA for approval this year. So just like, we're waiting for tirzepatide right now, right? And we know that Eli Lilly is probably right now in the process of they're submitting their final submittals for tirzepatide for obesity use. I think right along the lines of tirzepatide, we can hopefully expect this efinopegdutide and have this hit the market as well, which, these results look like they could be superior to tirzepatide. So lots of interesting information here as I've done really just a cursory search through these other medications that are out there. It is so exciting to think about the future of these GLP-1 treatments. It's so exciting to think of those of you who have struggled so badly to stay on these medications because of access issues. It's so exciting for me to think of you being able to get medication. So one of the things that Michelle, our moderator here, she's been on the pen several times, and we talk about often on this channel, is talk to your employers now about adding obesity coverage to your medical insurance through your employer. It's not the evil insurance companies that aren't going to cover these medications for obesity. It's our employers who haven't seen a need maybe to add the extra expense of adding obesity coverage to their plan. So they need to hear from you that that's important to you. So talk to your employer, talk to your HR people, talk to your benefits coordinators, just have a conversation with them and let them know, hey, I would really like to see this obesity coverage added to our health insurance and just lay out your case. And so those are the conversations that need to be taking place because as we see here, there are lots of these medications that are about to hit the market in the next year, 2, 3 years down the road. And these are going to be even more exciting to talk about than some of the medications we're talking about now, potentially. So it will be very interesting to go through this journey with you all, to learn about these as they come out, to talk to those of you who actually get to do these medications. Interestingly enough, I've had a few people reach out to me over the course of my time on Mounjaro and doing this channel who are participating in clinical trials, either on the physician care side or on the patient side. And so, these things are happening, they're moving along, and it'll just be really exciting to be a part of that. So I want to take a moment. That's what I got for tonight's stream. Let me know which medication that you heard about tonight that you're most excited to see. I know for me, I think it's still the Retatrutide. I think I can't possibly pick a different one now because I'm in too deep. But what are you excited to see? And are there any medications that you have heard of that we didn't cover tonight that you'd like us to maybe cover? I did want to, if I can figure out where I set my phone, I got too much stuff going on here. Oh, it's right in front of my face. Jim Osborne, who is a fan of the channel, reached out to me on Facebook and said, give me some of that efinopegdutide. Yeah, that sounds like good stuff. It all really does. It's just exciting to see. It's exciting to see these medications proliferate. Yeah. So we got in the chat. Don't mind while I catch up. Oh, Delisa said, how are you doing with your B12 injections? So I got through my first batch of it like a month or two ago. I can't remember how long. I'm terrible with timelines. Just ask my wife. I'm notoriously terrible. And turns out turning 38 does not help with that. But I'm still taking them. I don't know. I feel like some days I notice it, giving me a little pick me up. And some days I feel like I haven't taken anything at all and I'm just sore because it is an intramuscular injection. And sometimes it just leaves me feeling sore. But I do the 2 milliliter shot of it. And it's not helping me lose any weight. I'll tell you that because I do the B12 and the MIC injection, which prior to these GLP-1s being so popular was called the skinny shot. It does nothing for me in that regard. It doesn't satiate my hunger. I don't feel like it helps me in any way other than sometimes I do get that little energy boost. And that was really mostly what I was looking for out of it, is just an energy boost for those couple days after you take the medication. And that's probably the most side effect that I've felt outside of the migraines that we've covered on this channel that I've dealt with. But yeah, I hope the B12 works out for you, Cheryl. Certainly if you're deficient in it, it'll help. I never got tested. I just answered some questions generally, and they're like, yeah, you might benefit for this. So knowing so many in the community take it and it helps them with their energy levels, I thought I'd give it a try. I get mine through Ageless RX, but I know that you can get it from other places. I can't remember where Michelle gets hers. I'm sure she could put that in the chat, but she does it too. I'm doing B12 twice a week, Cheryl. So I do it a couple of times a week. And I do know Abby, I don't think she's in here tonight, but Abby's another one that takes B12. And I think she gets a boost from it. So I hope that, Cheryl, that I hope that it helps you out, and I hope that it helps you feel a little bit better. Especially if you're feeling fatigue, because that's really where the B12 is supposed to help you out. Michelle, is the lipo B12 the same as the B12 MIC injection, or is it different? I don't know. I don't know if she heard me. Oh, Abby is here. Hey, welcome, Abby. Yeah, I don't know if the B12 and the MIC injection, the B12 lipo and the B12 MIC are the same, but the B12 MIC injection doesn't do a lot for me. Oh, yeah, she said the same. Yeah. When was your last migraine? Thanks for the super chat, Sue. When was your last migraine, and how bad and how often? So I've been getting them like once a week, and I'd say they're mild. I take some Excedrin migraine and they're gone. And my big thing is I didn't want to have to go on to a pharmaceutical medication, another one. I don't like the idea of like chasing a pill with a pill. Michelle said she's going back to the Lipo Max locally, and it's way better than the B12 MIC injections. So thank you for the super chat, and thanks for caring, Sue. I appreciate you, dude. You don't even know. I really do appreciate you, buddy. But yeah, about once a week, I'm getting the migraines, and having titrated back, I think that's helped. I can tell you that my weight loss is pretty much stalled out. I mean, I'm sitting at about 280. I was up and I was down and up and down, but 280 seems about where my body wants to hang out right now. But you'll know that if you're on Stride Kick, we've talked about that, and I am going to be starting a members only challenge, because not everybody got to get in there, and I do want to give the members a chance. The thing is, it only lets me do 10 people at a time, which is just silly. And then if you want more than that, you have to pay like $2 a person per month or something, and I just can't take on another expense right now. But yeah, I'll put a link in the members only section of the community section that you can join. But anyway, I digress. I'm doing a Stride Kick, and I'm getting about 10,000 steps a day, which is over twice what I was getting. And so I'm really excited about that. Pug wants to know if I checked my testosterone. That's huge, especially when it comes to being a man. I take Hims testosterone support. It does not have testosterone. It helps your body keep what it helps. So that's interesting, Pug. Probably not a super enjoyable topic for the ladies necessarily, but so I'm taking, for hair loss, taking minoxidil, and one of the things that they gave me was finasteride, and I took it once and I felt weird. I just felt really weird on it, and then I started looking at what finasteride does, and it messes with testosterone, it looks like, from what I read, or the byproducts of making it. I was like, I don't want to mess with that at all. I don't want to mess with my testosterone, and it can cause other issues too. So it's like, do I want hair or do I want testosterone? And I think I want testosterone more than I want hair. So yeah, I have not had it checked though. Did you have yours checked, Pug, or are you just taking it to safeguard what you got? Interested to know. And I don't know, like again, I said I've been using Ageless RX. I'm not like a rep. I don't get any spiff from them or anything. I think I use them because I think Michelle maybe told me I could get the B12 from them. I don't know if they have that. Sue says he chooses hair. Yeah. I mean, I may, depending on how, I may just have a live stream where I just beg you all for super chats, and then I'll just go to Bosley and have them put like my back hair on my head or whatever they do, whatever voodoo they do to put. I remember Brian Urlacher. He was a defensive back for the Bears, and he was bald. And now he's not. And it's really weird because all his billboards are up all over Chicago, and he's got a full head of hair. And he reps Bosley, which is some sort of thing. Michelle said you can now get oral minoxidil and spironolactone, which is better. I do take oral minoxidil, Michelle, for what it's worth. And Pug's just saying it helped with his hair and energy and feeling better. Now, I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look at that. Muesli.com for oral hair med. Okay, I'll have to look into that. I just did a free telehealth through my insurance, and the guy gave me some minoxidil and finasteride. I wish he would have given me a little bit of heads up on what finasteride was, because it seems like that's nasty stuff. Just my own personal opinion. Well, I'm thinking that this is a good time to probably wrap it up. I've given you everything that I had to give you tonight as far as an update on some of the other medications that are in the works from these other drug manufacturers. I hope that the information was helpful. We've got a good conversation going in the chat about keeping our hair and testosterone and all that stuff. That conversation can continue over at BJ Davis's Discord. It can continue over at my On the Pen on Facebook. There's a group that you can join and continue the conversation there. But I hope that the conversation will continue. If you all, before you go tonight, if you could hit that like button, that's going to help people see this. And if you'd like to come back after the video posts and give it a comment, I would love that too. Just love anybody who might find this information useful to get it. and appreciate it. I'm going to be off the next couple days celebrating birthday week and anniversary week with my wife. I'm looking forward to that. Shout out to her. She is the love of my life. She is the wind in my sails. And I have been a very, very blessed man, not only to be married to her for 15 years, but to be with her for now 21 years. I turned 38 today, and I've been with Jenny for 21 years, which is hard to believe. That's a long time. And, you know, I've been blessed to be your husband, blessed to be your boyfriend, more blessed to be your husband. And now just absolutely in awe to watch her raise our kids. She is second to none in the mother department. So special shout out to my wife, Jenny, tonight. I love you very much, hun. I can't wait for our weekend together, and we're going to have a great time. Thank you all for joining tonight. You all are the best part of this channel. Thank you to the members who enjoyed the members only chat tonight. Thank you for those who gave super chats. That is so kind of you, Sue and Pug. Thank you for those guys. Very special, very meaning to me. Cheryl said, I've already won the lottery. 100%. I'll put that one up there. I absolutely have. Thank you, Cheryl. So thank you all. Appreciate you all. You're the best part of this channel. We'll be back next week with videos. We're going to talk about, just to tease it, there's a lot going around right now about berberine, and berberine being nature's Ozempic. I got some stuff to say about that. And we'll talk about it next week. I'm eager to do that. Until then, hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub. If you're over on Twitter, would you mind retweeting this? Seems like we're getting some traction over there, which is awesome. Delisa enjoyed the info. TJ, thanks for joining. Abby, thanks for joining. Puggers, thanks for joining. Cheryl, Sue, Janine, Michelle, thanks for being my fact checker and admin extraordinaire. Vanessa, who else we got? I don't want to miss anyone. Spinster, thank you for joining. Good to see you here. Deliza. Miss Tapman was here earlier. It was good to see her on here. Yeah. So if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. TJ, good to have you. Thank you all for joining. You're the best part of this channel. We're going to see you next week. Until then, we'll see you out on the pen next time.